Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin and I am with the Imagine America Foundation. Joining me on today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are excited about today's career topic, the overlooked value of technical school certificates, sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes, or UTI. UTI is this country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 16 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 21-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having now provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 16,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation to our website, www.imagine-america.org.
Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country, desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation again is Universal Technical Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background. But before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, with question and answers at the end of the presentation. All participants can submit questions and are encouraged to submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature or the chat feature in the Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, I will then present any questions offered by the participants, and we'll address as many questions as possible. We will have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. to be respectful of your time. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Bob and Lee, and good afternoon, everyone. I just can't thank you enough for spending a few minutes of your afternoon with me. So I'll get right into this. Just real quickly about UTI, we are the largest school in the motorsports industry, and we have now 16 locations across the country. For the longest time, I could only say 12, but we've now added 2 new campuses, a campus in Austin, Texas that will be opening in April, we're really excited about. And then we have a campus in Miramar, Florida, South Florida, that will be opening in July. We've also just recently acquired MIAT, the Michigan Institute of Aeronautic Technology, in Canton, Michigan, and in Houston, Texas. So we're really excited about those. But the reason why I spend a minute or so on this, talking about our nationwide training, is the fact that this gives our students such a huge advantage getting placed into the industry. A student could go to our UTI campus in California and get placed in Chicago, or get placed in Minnesota, or get placed in Maine, wherever. You know, we have that nationwide presence. You'd be hard pressed to walk into a dealership and say UTI and they wouldn't know who we are. We are well known nationwide. So that once again gives our students a huge advantage in getting employed. We offer 8 STEM areas, which very soon will be 16 STEM areas, but our 8 base areas are auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. And of course, then we'll be expanding into aviation, robotics, HVAC, wind and solar power, non-destructive testing, just to name a few. So, but when you look at this page, you see, okay, so I got to fit in one of those 8. But there are literally hundreds of career opportunities within those 8. For instance, if a student would say, hey, I love cars. I love being around cars, love everything about them. I just don't want to work on them. Is there anything for me that I could do? Sure, you could go work for an insurance company as a claims adjuster. They would love to have our graduates, because when you hit a deer, you know, you see the dents and dings on the outside, but you don't see all the sensors and computer components, everything on the inside that were damaged. I often say to people that, you know, you can't hit a possum now for under $3,000. I mean, it's just crazy how much it costs to fix a vehicle now, and you know, because of the internal parts. So somebody could do that. So that's just one example of how someone could pick a career, and there's many more. These are the alliances we have with the manufacturers. We have over 35 industry relationships with these. We have hundreds of industry partners, but these are the people that we're training our students for. I say that we're not training students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing students to go to work for BMW, for GMC, for Ford, for Alfa Romeo. These companies, that's who we're getting prepared for. And why? It's because these are strong, stable companies. They offer great benefits and they pay great salaries. So, and first and foremost, they're starved for technicians. So that's why we work closely with these. And I'll explain more about that a little bit later in the presentation. Now, here's what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about your relationship with students, with parents, yeah, the P word, with each other. You know, hopefully I can give you some tidbits of things that you might be able to use in your respective schools. First, let's start off with skills. What are employers looking for? They're looking for skills. So we automatically think, oh yeah, so they want people that can fix cars, fix trucks, that can weld, that can plumb, that can build houses. That's what they want. Well, that's part of it. They need those hard skills, that's for sure. But at the same time, they also need the soft skills, the communication skills, the writing skills, the people skills. You know, you guys, you know, it's ever since the pandemic, it seems like customer service has gone out the window. I mean, you find good customer service, it's rare. That's one thing we really strive with our students. You know, we can teach them how to work on cars, how to work on trucks, but they also have to be able to talk to their customers, their clients. They have to be able to go out there you know, to say, hey, here's what's wrong with your car. Here's what it's going to take to fix it. And here's how much it's going to cost, you know, and be able to talk them through it and give them options in case they can't afford that. Maybe there's something else they can do in the meantime. So those communication skills are very important. So when you think about skills, it's not just the hard skills, it's the soft skills working together is what makes a complete employee. Here's a statistic that might surprise you a little bit. Nearly all certificates, 94% to be exact, and 3 out of 5 associate degrees are awarded in career-oriented fields. Now, you may think that your students are all going off to college to get a bachelor's degree. You'd be wrong in many cases. Your students are wanting to get into a career field. They want to do it quickly. These students nowadays, you know what I'm talking about. They want it now. You know, they don't want to wait. You know, they want middle management. They don't want to do entry level, all these things. They're anxious. That's why they Snapchat. That's why they Instagram. That's why they text. Email's too slow. I'm not going to do that. All right. So that's why many of your students, not all, but many of your students, they want to go the faster route. They can't see themselves in school 4, 5, 6 years, maybe 7 years. They just can't do it. Now, some of your students can. And that's where it's, you know, when you're talking about career readiness and career pathways, you have to know your students. I'm a former coach and I had to know my players. I know which players that I could really get onto and which players I couldn't, you know, because they would react differently. And so your students are different too. Some of your students are hands-on project-based learners. And then some of your students, they're ready for the long haul. They want to get into a college. They're ready to go 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it's going to take. That's up to us as educators to make that call and to help them as we're advising them on career readiness. Along the same lines, about 50% of students taking undergraduate coursework are enrolled in certificate and associate degree programs. Going back to what I just said, they want it quick. They want it now. You know, at UTI, they can get a good career in 9 to 17 months. You know, that's quick. You know, as opposed to going to school 3 or 4 years or more. So, you know, that's why we, once again, have to know our students, know what they're looking for, what they want. When you're looking for a technical certificate program, here's 3 things that I would advise you to look for. Number 1, look for the industry relationships. Number 2, look for occupationally focused curriculum. And number 3, look for employment assistance. Let me back up. Industry relationships. That's what I showed you just a couple of slides ago about our industry partners. That's important because that's who we're training students to go to work for. And so we get input from the industry. And so we give it because we want them to hire our students, obviously. So we want to make sure we're giving them what they want. Occupationally focused curriculum kind of goes back to the skills I was talking about too. You know, they're looking for specific set of skills. And so they want to know what kind of a curriculum that these students are coming from. What do they know? What can they bring to the table? So that's important. And then the third part, employment assistance. You know, why are these students going to school in the first place? To get a career. That's the whole idea here. You know, and that's, you know, we take that very seriously at UTI. We don't feel like we're done just because we got them in school and through school. We've got to get them employed afterwards. We got to assist them with that. Also remember that these three go hand in hand with each other. It's tough to have good employment assistance if you don't have those industry relationships. And it's tough to get students employed if they don't have the skills, the curriculum that employers are looking for. So these three work very closely together. But when you're looking at a program, make sure that you're looking for those three areas for your students. I'm going to switch gears now and talk about something that you may or may not be familiar with, Ignite Worldwide. Ignite is an acronym, Inspiring Girls Now in Technology Evolution. Simply stated, we're excited because for the first time, we're really making a concerted effort to get more girls involved into STEM. You know, it seems like this party's been going on and they've never been invited. We want to open that door for them to come in, to feel like that they can do these things because they can, and many want to. They just never knew how. And so that's what we're trying to do, is working with Ignite to make this possible with them. I love their mantra, you can't be what you can't see. Think about it. When's the last time you saw a female auto tech, a female diesel tech, female welder, female carpenter, female plumber? You know, I can go on and on. You go down the road and there's a road construction going on. How many girls do you see working there? And when you do see one, it's like a novelty, like, oh, look, they got a girl working for them. It's like, come on, it should be a novelty. It should be a reality. It should be an expectation. Half the population's female. Why aren't we seeing more females in STEM education? So we've partnered with Ignite Worldwide to see if we can overcome some of that. Kathy Rajveller, who's the CEO and founder, she started this program back in 1998 in the Seattle school system, and we've kind of built off of it. It's a four-part process. First is we invite the girls to come to an event at one of our campuses, which kind of goes along with number two. We want them to see a true STEM school. We want them to see how we operate. But we also want to give them an opportunity to ask questions. What did I just say? You can't be what you can't see. We want them to see. And so what we do is we invite a panel of women in STEM. We get some of the top women in areas around the country. We've had 3 of these so far at our campuses. We've had to postpone some because of the last little COVID surge. And so we've never had less than 100 at any one of our events. But these women in STEM panels, it gives girls an opportunity to ask questions. Hey, how did you do it? Were you scared? Were you made fun of? What did your parents say? You know, just questions that they want to know. You know, and then, like I said, having them at our school, but we can also have them at other companies too, so they can see what it's like. Then number 3, we give them workshops. We let them experience STEM. Let them do, welding simulators. Let them do electric circuit boards and whatever, just to see if they like it, see if they would want to do that. How do they know? They don't know what they don't know. And then number 4, we encourage them to go to conferences with breakout sessions. So they will be with other girls just like themselves, so they can see they're not alone in this. They have friends who also want to do this too. So a great program for girls. They're gaining, national acclaim, National Science Foundation, the Anita Borg Social Impact Award, the Department of Education. I can go on and on. So definitely catching momentum in this country. Here's the statistic that caught our eye the most. As I told you, Kathy Rajveller started this program in Seattle in 1998. In 2013, less than 5% of the girls in the Seattle school district were involved in STEM. By 2017, that number grew to over 50%. That's unbelievable. But it really resonated with us because about 4.5% of our student population is female, and we'd like to increase that. So we're hoping we can have similar results, you know, getting involved with getting more girls exposed to STEM and what's out there for them, and letting them see, you know, what our campuses are like. We also like to offer resources to help students. Education is not cheap, so we want to help them to be able to afford their education. We don't want anybody to not come to school because they can't afford to. That's sad to let that happen. So we work with youth groups like Future Farmers of America, or FFA, Hot Rodders of Tomorrow, Skills USA, Top Tech Challenge. We work with these the group. We offer scholarships and grants through these programs to help students achieve success. We also work with foundations like Imagine America. You know, Imagine America, as Bob told you, we have a 21-year history with Imagine America and given out many, many, many scholarships to students to help make their education more affordable. But Imagine America is also great to work with because they allow us this forum to be able to speak to educators like yourselves and to be able to give you information that you need for your students too. So it's a great partnership. And then finally, we love working with industry. And if you're not working with industry in your school, that's a big miss. You should be doing that even at the high school level. They can definitely help you, and they'll want to help you because they're going to need employees in the future. But we work with companies like our newest alliance is AGCO Corporation. AGCO and specifically Fendt Tractors. We did a big booth with them at the FFA convention this last fall. We had, oh my gosh, a 40 by 80 booth and a 10 by 40 booth, had 3 tractors, a rogator. I mean, we had a planter, all kinds of stuff in there. But what it did, it showed students how industry and education work together, how they partner with each other. So if they would come to us first, we would show them, you know, what we can do. And then we would send them over to Fendt and say, and, you know, here's a company that you could go to work for. And then vice versa. Fendt would talk about their, you know, their company, and then they would send them over to us and say, now here's a school that can help you get, achieve your goal that you're wanting. So it's a great way to show students how we partner. And like I said, if you have not partnered with industry in your school district, make it a point to do that. It's a great opportunity. We offer over $15 million in scholarships each year. Now, if there's anybody on this call that can send me some information on how to get kids to fill out scholarship applications, please do so, because I'd love to talk to you or hear from you. It's tough, but we have a program called our Tuition Reimbursement Incentive Program, or TRIP. We're very proud of this program. We have hundreds of dealerships across the country that are offering packages to, you know, incentivize students to want to come to work for them. They offer student loan repayment assistance. They offer hiring incentive packages. They offer tool purchase assistance, sign-on bonuses, tenure bonuses. They offer all these things to entice students. They're all after the same pool of employees, the same pool of technicians. So to stand out, you got to offer something that maybe another dealership is not offering. But it's proven to be very beneficial to getting students employed in the industry, and plus to help them where they don't start off their career, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. That's just not necessary. Now, there is a catch. They're not just going to give these out to anybody. They have to see proof. They have to see that, you know, you had good attendance at UTI, that you worked hard in class, that you showed good professionalism, you have a work ethic. They're looking for those things. And if you meet those requirements, they're more than happy to offer you assistance to help you to get to pay off your student loans and that kind of thing. 2 key takeaways I wanted to cover with you today. Number 1, high school counselors and educators can strengthen all post-secondary education pathways, including certificate programs. That's a fancy way to say these are no longer Plan B. These are Plan A. Your students that want to go this route, your project-based hands-on learners, this is what they want to do. You know, for so long, we've had it that, well, you know, if vet school doesn't work out, you could always be a plumber. You could always be a welder. Hey, if you know, if you go to med school and it doesn't work out, yeah, you could be a diesel tech. Nothing to it. It's not true. These are highly skilled individuals. These men and women, they know what they're doing. They've learned their craft and learned it well. And we have to treat it that way. This is also a great thing for your parents too, because your parents initially are going to want to say, oh yeah, I want my son or daughter to go to University of Texas or Texas Tech or wherever, because it's the best school. Well, no, that may not be the best school for their son or daughter. And that's why you can show them, you know, the income potentials that are out there and the education that's involved, and help them to be proud of their students for what they want to do, what they want to be. So make sure that you're celebrating all of your students' successes. If you're still holding college fairs, stop. Start calling them career fairs. When you say college fair, they're thinking, okay, if I'm going to go to Texas A&M, if I'm going to go to school like that, I guess then this is for me. But if I'm going to a trade technical school, I guess it might not be for me. Perception's everything. I know you probably mean all types of school, but they may not perceive it that way. Just an idea. And then number 2, higher education leaders are instrumental in enabling students to acquire education beyond high school. Skills are important. And the more skills you have, the more marketable you are. Sure, some of your students will go to work right after high school and they'll do fine. But you have to remember, what are employers looking for? What do you bring to the table? What skills do you possess? And by going to a school, even for 9, 12, 15 months, is going to give you the additional skills that's going to put you above everybody else that's trying to get that same job. So the skills are important, but they don't necessarily have to be a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. It could be a competency-based credential or an associate's degree. I'm a retired educator. I know what you guys do every day. I've been there. I know that you talk to students about the need and the supply and demand that's out there. You talk to them about the need for skilled trades and technical education. You're talking to them about career readiness, career pathways, STEM. You're talking to them about scholarships and other possibilities that they may have. How do we figure in this? We just want to partner with you. That's all it is. We offer what my colleague Jerry Elner likes to say, a buffet of opportunities. We offer workshops that we come into your school, or we can have you come to our school. We do open houses. We'll bring our STEM truck and trailer out to your school and do demos out there for them. The students love that stuff. We come in, we'll do workshops on career readiness, career pathways, on STEM, and these are free. I know what your budgets are like. You don't have them, so we're glad to come out and talk to your students. We want to talk to all of your students. What we have to offer is not just an interested only. It's not something just for the lunchroom. It's something for all of your students. All of your students can glean something from these. So take advantage of that. We'll talk about our scholarship opportunities and grant opportunities that we have too, but we just want to partner with you. I do professional development for school districts. So if you ever have a need for that and the budget's a little low for that, I'd be glad to come out. I don't charge for that. I'd be glad to come out and visit with your department. And I'll even been known to feed you breakfast or lunch too with that. So we just want to work with you any way we possibly can, because we know the job you have is tough. We just want to help you get to more and more of your students and give them opportunities. And then finally, this is my contact information. This is my email address. You got my phone number earlier. You'll get a link, so you'll get this presentation. So you'll have it there. But please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, if you have comments. Love to hear from you. I'm hoping that I gave you a few tidbits of information that you can actually use in your school district. That's important, that you get something that you can actually make happen, that you can actually use. But I'd love to visit with you. If you have any kind of needs at all, please reach out to me at that email address. I also have another email address. It's just counselors@uti.edu. That's a real easy one, counselors plural at uti.edu. But anyway, thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your afternoon with me. And I wish you the best of luck for the rest of your school year. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dr. Coyle. We are now going to open this up for the Q&A portion of our presentation. I've also thrown up a poll question. If you would like somebody to email you more information about speaking to your seniors or presenting similar information to your students, please indicate so on the poll so that we know who to reach out to after this is over. Dr. Coyle, first question that comes in, this person wants to know about federal financial aid. Can someone receive federal financial aid in order to attend UTI?
Yes, we are Title IV funded. So we do ask you to fill out the FAFSA to see if you qualify for financial aid. And then what we do is after we get the FAFSA back, then we pair you up with a financial aid advisor. They will work with you and your family on, different packages to make school affordable for you. We'll go through, the student loans, the grants, the scholarships, everything that you would have available to you, and even encourage you to get more financial aid as well too. So yes, we definitely work with you.
Fantastic. Okay. This question has to do with the recording. So yes, this session will be sent out to each of you tomorrow, likely tomorrow morning, once I get a chance to edit the recording and send that out. And it will include Dr. Coyle's contact information in that email as well. So if you want to reach out to him straight from that email about presenting to your students, that would work fine as well. Dr. Coyle, the second or another question has come in. This person wants to know about GPA requirements. Are there GPA requirements in order to attend UTI, or what is your admissions process?
We do not have a GPA requirement. We do not require ACT or SAT scores. What we do is we do a personal interview with the student and their family. We want to find out about we're going to ask similar questions to what a service manager is going to ask, about the student's background, about, their punctuality, their attendance, their work ethic, those kind of things, because that's what employers are going to be concerned about. So we want to make sure that we're getting good, strong candidates into school that will get through the program and graduate and then land a very lucrative career. Grades are important. We don't mean to downgrade that at all, but we put more emphasis on those other areas.
Dr. Coyle, this is Bob again. The next question has to do with programmatic and cost comparison between traditional community colleges and technical schools and universal technical. Could you address that a little bit, please?
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's a very fair question. First thing I always say is we are not a community college. Many school counselors will say, oh, they do the same thing. No, we do not. We're more manufacturer specific, but I'll give you three areas that probably is the biggest difference. Number one is time in school. You're going to be at a community college 2 to 3 years. It's just a fact. At UTI, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to be there 9 to 17 months. We don't take summers off. We don't do spring breaks. We go straight through and very focused on what the students want to come. We're talking about earlier about that focused curriculum, and that's what we offer. Number two is the alliances with the manufacturers. Some community colleges will offer 1 or 2. We offer over 35. And so, if you really know what you want to do, what you want to be, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for the student that wants to come in and, kind of explore and find themselves, that kind of thing. That's really not what we're for. We're for that student that knows what they want. And then finally, the trip package I just mentioned. That is a great equalizer. I know there's states out there that offer free college for students, and there's, for the community college, that kind of thing. And that's all well and good. Some students take advantage of that. But with the trip package, it's very similar. The fact that a student can get their education paid for. But as I said, there's a catch. They got to work hard to get it. They've got to show good professionalism, good work ethic. They've got to be willing to get it, because BMW is not going to hire just anybody. They want the best they can get their hands on. So those are really the basic differences.
Yeah. Now, what I'm hearing you say, I don't want to misrepresent anything, but I'm hearing you say nationally accredited, nationally recognized, employer focused, employment focused. And I think the latter one is very important, because when you start talking to parents, they're going to want to know how long is it going to take Junior to get in here, because he really wants to to study automotive. And when will Junior get out and when will he start making some money, right?
Exactly. And, you know, many of our graduates are 19 years old. They're out in the field, and they're you know, while their friends might still be going to school, spending money, our students are making money. So absolutely, you're right on there, Bob.
Yeah, I really think that's important. Before we close, let me go through a couple of housekeeping matters, logistics. As Lee said just a moment ago, we have recorded this session, and just as soon as Lee finishes editing it, we're going to forward it all to all the registrants. Also, we place this recording, or we will be placing this recording on our website, which is www.imagine-america.org, with very specific download instructions. I really urge all the listeners to take a second listen to this particular recording, because I personally find that I missed something the first time through, and it's always good to hear something a second time. Third thing is we're going to be doing a survey, and would appreciate any and all of our participants today to respond to that survey. Give us feedback on the direction of it, timing of it, etc., that sort of thing. Really look forward to getting your feedback. Before closing, I want to thank the participants, specifically the educators, that have taken time out of their very busy schedules today to listen to Dr. Coyle and the Universal Technical Institute presentation. We all know that you have other demands on your time, and really appreciate you carving out just a little bit of space, a little bit of time with us so that we get a chance to talk to you. Thank you very much. And on behalf of the foundation, I want to thank Dr. Coyle for sharing today's presentation, and encourage you to contact him directly on anything in this presentation, any questions, whether it's STEM careers, whether it's the girls or females in STEM careers, whether it's Universal Technical Institute. Use Dr. Coyle as a sounding board to go to. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, Lee Doubleday and myself, we want to thank you and say goodbye. Have a great day.